Welcome SAO survivors to This Week in SAO for all your weekly Sword Online news. Now, if you're in one of the English speaking regions, you just had Scherzo of Deep Night last week. I hope you enjoyed it, and if you didn't get to see it, just look around a bit. Maybe if you're lucky it's gonna stay for another week or so, but make sure to check your local theaters, and if you're not gonna be at the theaters, you can always find some great opinions on the internet. Just make sure you validate the validity of those opinions. Internet, it's a scary place. Meanwhile, ordinal scale manga artist IsII has drawn a special progressive Asuna illustration. It is quite lovely. Link is going to be down below the like button as usual. And as an additional illustration, I did some little joke thingy about Reki and his approach to Eolyne's mysteries in the United Ring Light Novels. I'm gonna add the link for that as well. Also, 2 fan art campaigns have begun for the upcoming birthdays of SAO Gameverse heroines. Well, I say heroines, but first one is for Philia. Until March 2nd, you can have your birthday illustration fan art for her and upload it on Twitter using her special birthday hashtag, and you will have a chance to be featured on SAO Beaters Cafe, the official Sword Online video games website. Now the second one, heroine, Itsuki. The campaign for Itsuki is continuing until March 5. Again, he has his own special birthday hashtag. So if you use that, share the fan art on Twitter, you will have a chance to be featured for his birthday on the SAO video games website. Now, before we move on to the main portion of This Week in SAO, which is once again dominated by SAO game news, I will put a little bit of a bracket here. I usually, plug in my Amazon and Book Depository affiliate links down in the description, but this morning I woke up to a huge earthquake back in Turkey, southern eastern Anatolia. 7.4 magnitude according to Turkish sources, followed by a 6.4 and a 6.6 later nearby. And it is understandably quite horrible. We're never prepared for this kind of shit, despite the fact that we are in one of the most active earthquake regions in the world. But for this time only, I figured I'd add a donation link down below to the Search and Rescue Association in Turkey, Akut. They are a non-governmental organization, which I can imagine it's a concern for many people. So non-governmental, it's good. They are independent. So if you're in it for, some support or help to the region, in short notice, I do believe they will be the best way to go, especially in these early periods where it's really important to mobilize without any restrictions to save people. A whole lot of cities in the region, including the Syrian side of the border, has been quite devastated, so people are definitely looking for your support on that front. And that is going to be the only plug in this video. Thank you very much for your time and consideration. Sword Art Online Last Recollection. Well, as expected, Taipei Game Show stream, or rather preview video, was exactly what we expected. Just the things we have learned in the past couple of weeks being presented for a wider audience. The one thing we have learned is that the author of the critically acclaimed series Violet Evergarden, Akatsuki Kana, is returning for another major role in the SAO games. It has basically been confirmed that Sword Art Online Last Recollection's main story is going to be written by Akatsuki Kana. So for those of you who like really emotional stuff, Last Recollection will probably have it with Akatsuki Kana in charge. However, a lot of people are like, oh my god, this is so great, this is happening. They don't seem to realize that this has actually happened previously. Akatsuki Kana also worked on a variety of DLC back during Alsatian Licorice times, the Shinon and Lisbeth chapters of the Ancient Apostles, as well as her involvement in Myosotis and Matricaria DLCs. But yeah, I am absolutely looking forward to what she conjures up for this one. I am just going to hope she will not be constrained by the gameplay pacing of the things, because that was one of the things most of the stories in Alsatian Licorice suffered from, having to stretch a story around planned gameplay portions and the like. I'm gonna hope it's gonna be focused a little bit more in comparison to the sprinkled or stretched thin stories that we had sometimes in Alsatian Licorice. Moving on to Variant Showdown, that is not having the best of times. As I talked about last week, the Valentine's events and the banner has begun, so not gonna touch on that too much. But the second half of the event is starting today, with a lot more rewards being added to the point reward track, as well as the extra difficulty being added for more efficient point farming, as well as a whole lot more stuff like the 3 tickets we usually get from that. But more importantly, remember the reward track actually has a lot of SSR campaign Shilika crystals, and currently they do drop from the hard mode with a low chance, and very likely with the extra difficulty it's gonna be upped to a medium chance for that one. So make sure to clear that extra and then use your skip tickets on that one instead. Integral Factor Happy Lovers Day order featuring Asuna, Alice, Lisbeth and Shilika units. A lot of Valentine's Day themed events. One of them is the Valentine Boss Rush. The other one is one of the old scenarios Valentine's limited stories coming back as a rerun featuring Asuna and Yuki. There's the Heapin 20 million XP event for a Heapin 20 million XP, you know, that's always nice for those looking to level up. And a Valentine's selection order featuring skills from previous Valentine's Day events. For a full list of available skills, please do check the order page. Unleash Blading has an entry in my list, a very short one. The final 4 chapters of the Unleash Blading original The Dark Emperor's story arc wasn't fully translated back when they first published it. The final 4 chapters remained untranslated into English. They have now been published, fully translated, so if you have been missing out on it, if you haven't read it from the Japanese using machine translation or something, you can now read them properly on the official page. I'm gonna put the link down in the description as usual. And at Dreadful Decoding, we have published the Scherzo of Deep Night manga adaptation, chapter 17, to commemorate those who get to watch the Scherzo movie this week or earlier last week. You know, just enjoy. This one covers the post-boss fight tensions. It is a little bit different than the movie. It has more focus on ALS and DKB situation, but you know, link is, as everything else, is down below in the description. That's it for this week. Thank you very much for watching, and I will see you all next time around. Until then, stay cool.